My name is Mark D'Antonio. I'm the Chief Photo and Video Analyst for MUFON, and we have a panel of folks that are going to introduce themselves to you one by one and tell you a little bit about themselves. We'll start with Alejandro Rojas.
Hello.
Goodbye.
My name is Alejandro Rojas. I work for OpenMinds.tv, where we cover UFO news on a daily basis. We also do cover astrobiology and things going on the fringe and the mainstream when it comes to extraterrestrial life. And I used to do PR for MUFON. I was a field investigator for MUFON for many, many years, so I've been involved with MUFON for like 15 years or so. So that's what I do. Thank you.
Awesome.
My name is John Greenwald. I run a website called The Black Vault, which is, as far as I know, the largest archive of declassified government documents privately run in the world. As it pertains to this panel, not only do I do that, but I work in television production for companies like History Channel, Discovery Channel, and been very lucky not only doing UFO type programming, but also about astrobiology and the science of alien life. So figuring out if there is life out there, if you're on the fence, scientifically, you know, we don't have that smoking gun proof. How would life form? And I've been very lucky to be able to be the producer, writer, and director on some of these shows like The Universe, where I get to talk to, you know, the Dr. Michio Kakus of the world, and it's a pretty mind-blowing topic.
And there's a guy standing in a black suit waiting for you back there. Just like,
My name is David Marler. I've been actively investigating the UFO subject for 26 years. I, too, was a member of MUFON for many years, Illinois State Director for about 7 to 8 years. My focus was on triangular UFOs for the last 10 to 13 years. I wrote a book on the subject comparing correlations, patterns in the worldwide reports stretching back decades. My talk will be on the Farmington, New Mexico case of 1950 this year, and I'm a historian, researcher, and avid collector of historical UFO material.
Hi, my name is Bill Schroeder. I'm a member of MUFON. I'm a state section director here in Florida. Very proud. And also a member of NICAP, where I work on the archive and history team. I also run the military UFO project, and that's primarily where my research is targeted towards military encounters with alien vehicles. We'll be speaking tonight on an incident in Miami and a number of NORAD incidents that involved UFOs.
don't miss it.
Hi, my name is Robert Powell. I'm the Director of Research at MUFON, and I will be talking on MUFON's top cases a little bit later this afternoon. My background, my degree's in chemistry. I came out of the semiconductor field where the flash chips that you have in your cameras and your computers, the computer chips, we made all those at Advanced Micro Devices. We're a competitor to Intel. So that's kind of my background. I'm fairly conservative on the UFO UFO phenomenon. Definitely real, and that there's a physical existence to it. It's not just lights in the sky. But it's a topic I enjoy very much, and my goal within MUFON is to give it a scientific bent to the
Hello. Yes. My name is...
Yeah, use the other one. Let me take that.
Yeah, my name is Erling Strand, and I have had just a presentation, so you know a little bit about what I'm doing. Daily basis, I'm working at a lecturer at the University College and run this project Hestan, which you know a little bit more about, I guess. And I could have talked much more about myself. I have had UFO sightings myself many times, not many times, but sometimes, and I've seen them myself, so I know they exist.
So I have to ask, and this one is for all of you, what is your best evidence for visitation?
I'll take a shot. I think what's difficult about that, and it's probably the same reason we all take a bit of pause in that the evidence as far as visitation is that's making an assumption that I think a lot of us might be wary to make as far as visitation. I think, like Robert put it, there's evidence of a phenomenon that we can't explain. Maybe some would go so far as to say that it appears to be intelligently controlled.
Compelling are those that involve eyewitness sightings corroborated by radar. Now, I've often made comments that if the UFO phenomenon was solely based on eyewitness testimony, I wouldn't be here right now.
We understand and we theorize that the government's always hiding the good cases or it's hiding specific data from us. We don't get to see the whole picture, right? So the question is, in your experience, and this, I'm going to go right to you with this one, Bill, to continue because you have the mic and you have a good background for this. What do you think is the reason that the government would hide anything? And do they even have the capability to hide this technology from us if it's so prevalent around the world that people see these things all the time?
Well, they have the power of the government. In my particular case, and again, I followed up with the famous Crestview School, it was a different world we lived in. It was the Cold War. When the military asked you to do something, the Air Force came to your door and said, hey, be a good citizen. This is what we know you saw, and we have to protect the skies because the Russians are coming. So that gave them a great deal of power over the way we thought. We didn't have the freedom that people have now. We counted on our military and we believed everything they said.
Look at the possibility that an alien species has, communicated with us, come to the planet Earth, and interacted with our submarines and warships and nuclear facilities. We're also saying, blazingly loud, they bridged the gap. They did the interstellar dance. They went all the way across the ocean in between the stars. So the question becomes, and this I'm putting out to you because I'd like to get your opinions and see where you are in this. I have a number of thoughts in my head for how they do this, and I've talked about it ad nauseum all over the place. I want to know what you guys all think about how they could bridge this gap. Now, I don't mean to give you clues, but there is that Alcubierre drive, warp drive. There are other possibilities, maybe string theory propulsion, that kind of thing. There's also the possibility that that they could even use some kind of thought process. I mean, we hear that all the time. I'm not on that end, but I'm on the other two ends. So what are your ideas? I want to know what you think.
I think one of the hardest ways to address your question that I think humanity, myself included, that we don't want to think about is the ego that goes along with the fact that they would actually care. And I think you nailed it with they're not going to care. And the reason I say that is if we are here in 21st century and we are who we are, and they are there and they were able to get here, then the odds are that there are millions and millions, if not billions and billions of civilizations just like us, younger, older, different, so on and so forth. So then that big fat question mark for me is whether or not they would even care to come down and say hello. Now there are some of us who do.
Same would happen to us looking at any society that's hundreds of years more advanced than us, trying to figure out what it was. I agree with the Boeing engineer. We would have no chance of deprocessing that technology, and we would probably destroy it before we ever reach the level where we could deprocess it.
I think we should go study into the atoms or quantum mechanics or whatever to figure out, well, we know that that is happening. How could that be happening? And we know it's probably possible, but then we know in what direction we could study. And maybe in that way we go into the deepest part of the atoms, could find some big answers to outer space.